Welcome to the Fine Print, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Caleb Teskey, and today I am joined by my good friend James Mayer. James, thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you for having me, my man.
This is a pleasure. Before we get into your new business, would you care to share your 5 minute life story with everybody?
Cool. Yeah, that's not a problem. Came up to Vermont in 2007 from Rhode Island. Had a fondness for snowboarding, the cheese, Linden State College. Ended up staying up here after graduating, bounced around, got a couple jobs. Been kind of figuring out, where I want to be in my life and what's going to be the thing that's going to make me happy versus, stress and make money and that kind of balance with everything. And was painting for a bunch of years and now have settled into a different kind of arraignment. Um, I'm an avid snowboarder. I'm an avid outdoorsman. I like canoeing. I like, the area of Vermont. I'm not into the city life. I'm not into congestion. I'm not into going to the grocery store as your sole source of food. I think people of Vermont really look to this earth more as guidance and use gardening and use farming as their ways of almost a coping mechanism towards being a better person. And I think Vermont, society wise, has called me and came to me. And now I've started this business where I'm trying to help out and give back. In terms of there's some societal needs right now, trash wise. There's societal needs right now. In terms of how we recycle. And so my last 5 years, I've spent doing a bunch of trash removal and I've done a bunch of move jobs for people. And I've seen a lot of things get thrown away that shouldn't get thrown away. And so the business that I'm creating in essence is a way to be able to recycle. And then also be able to have my friends locally show off their art as a gallery.
Oh,
So
cool.
right now, so I'm at a good spot right now, my man.
Can you tell us a little bit before we even get to the new business? You've been doing sort of the Mr. Handy thing. Uh,
Yeah, handyman for 5 years. That was hard. Wasn't easy.
what kind of
I was
jobs were you doing with that business?
We were doing painting, we were doing landscaping, we were doing move jobs. I was doing any type of weather sealing, weatherproofing, just kind of general carpentry, middle miscellaneous types of jobs. Stuff that really once you learn those skills will resonate with you for the rest of your life, just based on the fact is you can use all those tools in your toolbox. But I've gotten burnt out on it on a couple different ends. It was something that I loved for a very long time, and I got a lot out of it. But eventually, you got eventually need multiple careers in your life, and I'm at a spot where I needed some change. But for what it was for a very long time, probably in about a 5 year span, we painted 40 to 50 houses here locally. So, got a decent amount done. Would have liked to have gotten more, but at the same time, I'm not perfect, nor is anyone. You just gotta strive and do what you can.
Hmm. Cool. Now, I saw the other day that the Caledonian Record, it looks like, wrote a nice article about you.
Yeah.
This
So
is the,
we're
this is
gaining a
the
little
only
bit.
time I'll shout them out on my show either.
Well, no, and I appreciate that. And anything that's free PR is appreciated, like yourself. This scenario is appreciated, on many levels. Um, I was getting a little frustrated the other day, honestly. I had a buddy that grounded me and didn't talk me off the edge, but I was getting frustrated and I said, "Hey, I'm not at a happy spot with it." And he said, "Well, what have you done? Have you gotten your Facebook together? Have you gotten your website together? Have you gotten different publications together?" And I said, "I really haven't yet." And he said, "Well, you're at the tip of the iceberg. You really got to kind of refine your searches. And to be successful at this point in the game, you can't just try one thing and expect to be successful." And I appreciate all of the different things that I've been getting. Saint Johnsbury as a whole has been incredibly welcoming. The business department, the committee has thrown me out for the Sparkle event. They've thrown my name out there very, very nicely. Right now, we just need more sales, but I got to be realistic. I'm in a recession, and I have a new business that just started, and I need to be realistic that things aren't going to happen overnight, and that I got to go with the growing pains of the situation.
What's the Sparkle event you were talking about?
Sparkle was a local event where three other businesses besides myself, one of them was the cannabis shop down on Route 5, opened
Oh,
up that day. And so St. Johnsbury actually used a event. They set off a bunch of fireworks, which was weirdly in conjunction of when that they lost water for like 2 days. So it was kind of a weird situation in St. Johnsbury, regardless. They were shooting off fireworks, and the Sparkle event was a way to create business and create tourism and create, people coming in for local businesses like myself. In hindsight, I wish I wasn't open those 2 weeks. I wish I had taken a little bit more time to refine and get my business started. I not wasted time, but I spent a little bit more time than I would have liked. Not focusing on what I needed to or the tasks at hand, but at the same time, now you know, and it's kind of on to the next one. The Sparkle event was definitely a good event because a lot of people got to see where we were at, and so that was my opening day. That was my grand opening. But at the same time, it was we didn't do a lot of sales that day. It was pretty mild. I mean, it was could have been more. Always want more.
well, maybe we could get you some. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about how you came into this new business, Fire on the Hill, right, in St. Johnsbury. Maybe you could tell us sort of the idea behind it and how you plan to keep it moving forward here.
So I'm into a style of kind of antiques or furniture that not a lot of people around here like, but there's a certain market of people around here that like quality pieces that have lasted the test of time, kind of the opposite of what you would say Walmart or IKEA offers. Non-particle board type of antiques. And so we go after the rustic farm market. I have dressers and tables and coffee tables. At this point, the sourcing is kind of spread all over. I sort storage units, I sort yard sales, I sort the internet. Here or high water, if you have a truck and you can go pick something else and you have cash in your hand, there's ways to go get stuff. And so there's a lot of things out there that need a quick cleanup. They need just a little bit of patina restoration, and they don't really need much, but people don't want to deal with them in their garage if they're all covered in dust, or they don't want to deal with stuff. And I just find too often people have been throwing stuff out directly into the trash. And part of my business is trash removal. And far too often people are throwing things away that have value. They have plenty of fair value to them. And so my goal is, instead of those going to the dump and being trash, if it could make a dollar, if I can make a dollar off of it and someone could use it for another 5 to 10 years at their house, that's a win in my eyes. And so this is a situation right now where this store, in a way, is a way for me to recycle, but it's also a way for my friends that are local artists who want to show off their stuff in a gallery, like my friend Emma McGuire. This is her
Oh, cool.
painting.
Nice.
Yeah, that's her painting that I'm showing off, and that painting is a $2,500 painting. And so, who realistically is going to be purchasing something like that in the local area? But if we make prints from it, and we were to kind of find a solution to kind of make it a little bit easier on the average consumer's dollar, then we could sell a product like that, and anyone could enjoy a product like that for $50 and not have to spend $2,500 if you just made a print.
Word
And
up.
so my goal is right now is to sell stuff with the artists, and then also there's a hobby shop kind of vibe as well, where I'm going to be buying and selling old bikes, skateboards, scooters, and I'm trying to make exercise on a, the others, not the mountain biking level. Mountain biking is an expensive sport for people that are affluent. I can't afford mountain biking,
Yeah, I
and
know.
who can? And
Yeah.
so that's why we're going to be selling skateboards for $25 to $100 so that the average kid can just buy a skateboard that's not junk from Walmart.
Do you want some skateboard hookups too? Because I know a couple guys making decks in Vermont.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. That's definitely something that's in the next realm of purchasing. So we do have some new ones to offer, but I definitely want to keep the costs down as much as humanly possible. Don't need custom crazy graphics on something if the kid's just going to end up scratching it off.
Right.
I'm into keeping it kind of like I said. If I buy 100 blanks and 100 decks and 100 sets of wheels and 100 sets of bearings, I can get the price down, and that's really what my goal is. I want to offer an affordable product. Yeah, I got to make a little bit of money off of it. We all have to have a little bit of meat on the bone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if we can get kids on a skateboard and off the couch, that's a win for me.
Yeah. You trying to motivate these kids, James?
I'm a park rat, man. I grew up on a BMX bike, and although I played football and although I played golf, the family that I had at the skate park was a family that was way more welcoming. And unfortunately, the Saint Johnsbury skate park failed. They didn't put it in a great spot. It wasn't policed right. They had it in an area that just it kind of welcomed riffraff, so to speak. And so I think you have two skate parks in Lyndonville that are in great spots. They're being very much utilized. And I just think it's more or less, we need to get more people. I think there's a direct correlation. If doctors were gonna prescribe more exercise and skiing, snowboarding, mountain biking, skateboarding as opposed to anxiety medication, maybe we'd be off in a better spot. But I'm just a big believer, and it helps me. I get off the couch a couple times weekly now, and if I wasn't doing that, I would be, I would be going wild in my brain. There's a direct correlation between working hard and playing hard, and I love to play.
Yeah. Well, James, is there anything else about your business you'd like to sneak in here? This was a quick one that I'm kind of just doing off the cuff because I don't have any notes, and you're not a cannabis business that I've been studying for the last year.
No, so what I'm trying to basically accomplish, in a way, is in about 6 months to 12, once I've established an identity, once I've established, my space and gotten things off the ground, I don't want to be a thrift store. I don't want to be a secondhand store. That's not really the identity. It's not really what I want to be, going after. But in a way, there's a big market of the Salvation Army is local and they're right down the road. And the Salvation Army has turned into this place where people often they're almost bringing trash to. And so I'm just trying to kind of inspire people locally. There's a lot of things out there, and my rule is if you haven't used it in over a year and it's sitting at your house and you have no uses for it in any way, shape, or form, you should bring it to a place like this. And if I can sell it and make some money off of it, and I make enough money off of it, of course, I'm going to give someone a kickback or give someone their fair share.
Some kind of consignment deal.
Yeah, I don't. So the word consignment's kind of ugly to me because in a weird way, because I'm from Rhode Island originally, and consignment where I'm from is what I'm doing, which is when the item sells, I get a portion of the sale, right? And the product might sell in a month or it might sell in 6 months or 12 months. But when it sells, that's when we both get paid. Consignment in Vermont's a little different. Consignment in Vermont's similar to like Antiques and Emporium, where there's 6 different booths in the whole place, and each person pays a rent on each booth. No matter what, even if you don't sell anything every single month, you're still paying rent.
Damn.
And so I don't like the word consignment because for me, it sounds like I'm a landlord to a bunch of hippies. And like, I'm not super interested in that. So like all my friends, I mean, they're not hippies, but like I said, there's a reason there's people that are artists out there and there's people that are business people. I'm a terrible artist. All right. I'm a great businessman. I'm going after a market of helping my friends who are not so great business people, but amazing artists. All right. Then if I can help them by being a yin to their yang, then that's what really works. I have a business partner up in Coventry who builds custom furniture. And the goal is to have a lot of items in the shop here that he creates, live edge furniture, live stuff, as natural look as possible. It seems the people, 5, 10, 20 years ago wanted things perfect, and they were perfectly fine with IKEA stuff, and they were perfectly fine with Walmart crap. And I'm glad that people as a whole, society wise, are starting to want quality hardwood items again, stuff that's heavy, stuff that's will literally live, if you put it in your house, will outlive you. And so there's good that people are getting back to that. And that's kind of what we're trying to do, is just it's a little bit of everything. I don't have a full on rhyme or reason. It's quite a hodgepodge of sorts. But at the same time, the overwhelming support initially has been really, really helpful. And I've been super happy across the board. Just everyone willing to help me, like yourself, and people just really just being open and just not really making it as hard as it could be. Like I said, would like more sales, but at the same time, you gotta just roll with the punches on a recession. It's not gonna happen overnight. And any
That's a rough
businessman,
time to start a business right now.
oh yeah, but any business person that you will ever talk to, right, or will ever tell you, they will never want you to sit back and say you woulda, coulda, shoulda. All right. If you ever wanted to do something, or if you ever have an idea in your head, it's better to try and then fail than sit 20 years later in your life and be miserable because you never tried and you had all that doubt. In my head right now, I don't know. Right now, this could be a sinking ship, so to speak, but it's not far away from a plug, and it's not far away from a fix, and it's not far away from one person buying one of my larger items and then we being 50 miles an hour drilling towards the shore. So
Okay.
I'm optimistic, and that's the thing is, as a business owner, you have to wade through every waters that's going to come to you, and sometimes you're going to get knocked down, but at the same time, get back up and just keep on going, baby.
You want me to play a Chumbawamba song in the background?
Dude, I love that when I was a kid too.
Before we get out of here, James, I'd like to ask you about your relationship with John Tomasoni.
Old Johnny, I could definitely explain. John and I went to college together. And as you can probably agree with me, John makes the best pizza of anyone I've ever tried. I'm not going to blatantly say the best pizza on
It is the
earth,
best.
but
It's the best pizza I've ever tried. I haven't traveled a lot, but
but the thing is, I haven't done the Frank Pepe's, and I haven't done a couple of those other ones down there. But when he cooked the first time, I hung out with John and he cooked the pizza. John and I went to school together. We had spent a lot of time. We partied together, had a lot of time. But there was this day where John invites me to his house in his backyard with CJ Savage and I think EJ White and a couple other people were around that day. And John had this like brick oven pizza that he made out of like a couple of bed frames that he had cut up. So he had the metal pieces. And then he took a bunch of bricks and like put some Firestones on top of it and made this kind of like ghetto pizza oven that worked really, really good.
yeah.
And that was the first time we had actually like saw him cook pizza, and he was in his backyard and he was doing his thing. And I'd never really known about the sourdough pizza at that point. And John starts whipping out pies, man. And he had that pizza up and ripping up into like 950, like 1,000 degrees that first time. And yeah, John pulled out some pizzas and I was hooked, man. That's the best pizza I've ever ate, hands down. It's light on the inside, really fluffy, and the outside's crispy, still
I
tastes like
know
sourdough.
the crust is perfect.
Well, yeah, and people don't realize like if you talk to like the if you have the everybody, one bite, everyone knows the rules kind of thing. Where John's pizza differentiates itself is that when John pulls his pizza pie out, he grades fresh mozzarella right onto the pizza so that it has that contrast of the fresh melted with the already melted. And so that I don't know. I'm just telling you, as you can attest, his pizza is top notch. I love that dude. When are you getting him on here?
Hopefully soon, man. I was just up there the other day, and I got to, dude. I went in. It was hilarious. I went in to get a pizza, and I was so excited because there was almost nobody in there. Taylor was in there. I get to see Taylor, and
Yep.
I was so happy. I was like, wow, there's no line, and there's nobody in here, and this will be quick and easy. And John's got 20 tickets on the board. He said, we're looking at an hour and a half wait. And I said,
Yep.
God damn, kid, like that sounds about right.
Yeah. No, and
So I
that's the
sat
thing.
there, dude. I sat there and waited too. I was like, this is the only place where I would sit here and wait this long, and I fucking waited, and it was
Pretty much.
amazing.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing is he's been flipping it up, mixing it up. And you want to talk about another business owner that's been dealing with the ups and downs. I mean, John could have at any point flipped up to over and said, I'm done. I've
I know
had
I
enough.
felt bad, dude. I saw the fire happen. I just felt horrible. We were so
No.
excited for him.
And John said, I'm not going to go get a regular job. He said, I'm not going to go conform. He said, I'm not going to go work for the damn man. John made a solution to his problem. He had a problem and he didn't have access to that pizza oven anymore. He didn't have access to that cooler. And so John had to do what any good business owner does. He has to find solutions. And so, although that pizza oven may be taking a little bit longer, all it's going to take is probably another one of those in there to kind of get back to like a reality of speed, and growing pains are definitely a good word to describe what's going on right now. But as you probably, when you ate his food, John puts every ounce of love into when he makes something that's made from scratch. It's very, very high
I see.
quality.
I see he's making baguettes now.
Baguettes, the gyros, like when I ate those, the what I love about John's food is it doesn't weigh you down. It's not food that when you eat it, you feel bloated and
Yeah.
gross afterwards.
No, I
John
feel
has a
amazing.
Yeah, you feel amazing because you made it out of like good ingredients and it was made with love. And like you can actually, like, even if you overate, like if you ate 4 pieces of his pizza, you
Which
still
I
would
do.
feel,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, like,
I
which
eat
I
the
do
whole
too.
thing.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And that's the whole thing, though, is you can do that with John's and you don't feel like you just ate a Domino's piece of glue. Like you eat
Yeah.
something from Domino's or even any of these local places that aren't glue, it feels like in there afterwards. And John, like I couldn't be happier for him. He's gonna find some solutions to get that speed up and he'll be off to the races. But yeah, no, it's very nice seeing locally other people. I've been an entrepreneur myself for 5 years now, and I got now another probably 10 friends locally that have just they're tired of working for people. They're tired of having a boss. They're tired of being on that like level where someone can, have control or can tell you this or that. When you're an entrepreneur and you own your own business, you're in control of your own realm and no one can tell you what to do as you're learning yourself in this whole thing. And it's beautiful. It's my favorite part about coming to work. And yeah, I have days where I think this is going to fail and I'm scared and this or that. And those are the ugly parts about being a business owner and being an entrepreneur. But in the long run, you have to enjoy it because I chose this.
That seems like a great place to end it. Unless you got any final word, I usually leave the last word for my guest here. But thanks for your time here, James. I
Beautiful,
wish
brother.
you the best of luck in your endeavor here,
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on the show. Talk to you
dude.
soon,
My
brother.
my pleasure. Yeah, take care of yourself.